As an employer, what should I do if my employee wishes to self-isolate to care for a vulnerable relative? So in this scenario, we are talking about our employee having no symptoms and not themselves being a higher risk vulnerable relative. That is somebody in the household who is over the age of 70 or who is pregnant or has a chronic respiratory illness or underlying health condition and is advised by their GP to have the flu jab each year. There may be reluctance to attend for work for fear of contracting coronavirus and fear of infecting the vulnerable relative that they may care for, that they may share a home with. Now, technically, those individuals are not permitted to be off work, but we would urge all employers to take a more compassionate stance and allow time off. There is government guidance on staying at home, which has recommendations on household isolation. So one option is for us to try and educate employees about how they may participate in the workplace, but then also at home ensure that there is an isolation program in place to minimise contact and the risk of spread of any virus with a vulnerable adult who may share the home with them. Employees are not entitled to SSP if they are self-isolating simply to minimise the risk to another vulnerable adult. We have discretion as to whether to make any payment to them, but this measure may well last a number of weeks or months given the uncertainty over the pandemic. So caution is urged as to what the extent of that support may be. Again, as per previous videos, we could consider home working, and that certainly is a possibility in many industries. We would consider the factors of productivity, environment, IT, infrastructure and communication, and if it is possible to have an employee set up from home, we can continue to pay them, they can continue to be productive, and we alleviate the risk of an employee contracting and spreading the virus to what will be a very vulnerable and high risk individual. Otherwise, we accept it is very difficult to agree any other course of action if the employee is not willing to attend work, other than to allow them to remain at home.